After Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy formally announced an impeachment inquiry into President Biden yesterday for corruption, abuse of power, and obstructing justice, the Biden administration responded by sending a letter to legacy news executives. According to the reports, the White House has urged the legacy media to ramp up their scrutiny of the House Republicans leading the impeachment investigation. Now, we've seen the media protect this president before, notably in their coverage of the Hunter Biden laptop scandal. But with the House investigation bringing subpoena power to probe the president's bank records and other transactions, will the legacy media be able to keep all this under wraps and follow the White House marching orders? Well, joining me now to discuss this and more is Congresswoman Harriet Hageman. She is a member of the House Judiciary Committee and the House Freedom Caucus. She represents Wyoming's at-large congressional district. Congresswoman, welcome back to the program. Always great to see you.
Thank you, and it's wonderful to be here.
I want to ask you about this letter that the White House is sending out to the legacy media, telling them basically to scrutinize Republicans, not to pass on disinformation. This sounds a lot like what they just got slapped for by the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals in their collaborating with social media to censor Americans.
Well, you know, Tony, I think I'm going to need to buy 100 copies of the Constitution and have them hand-delivered to the White House so that they can actually read the document that they are supposed to be following and that they swore to uphold. The First Amendment very clearly states that they can't do what it is that they're trying to do, yet they continue to try to deflect attention. What I want to say about this is that the American people are entitled to know the depth and the scope of the corruption of Joe Biden and how he has sold out the United States of America. What do I mean by that? To what extent is our foreign policy being dictated by the agreements that Hunter Biden negotiated with the Chinese Communist Party? To what extent is he continuing to try to send billions of dollars to Ukraine because of the arrangements that Hunter Biden and the deals that Hunter Biden cut in Ukraine? We have got to have a better understanding of who is controlling the White House and why Joe Biden is making the decisions that he is. This impeachment inquiry is to get to the bottom and expose Joe Biden for what he is.
So, Congresswoman, I want to ask you specifically to inform our listeners and our viewers, what tools and information will now be available that was not available prior to this inquiry of impeachment?
It's my understanding that we will be able to actually force some of these agencies to produce the documents that will uncover exactly what it is that we're talking about and expose this information. The other thing is to be able to bring more witnesses in to testify in front of us and allow us to ask the questions and expose, for example, the emails. We do know that Joe Biden was using other names on his email. He was using other email accounts that were not under Joe Biden's name to conduct official business, to include Hunter Biden on official emails with folks from under the Obama administration. So it's going to give us broader authority to actually gather the documents to show the American public what Joe Biden has been doing and how it has affected national security and the decisions that he has made.
So previously, you were able to get some of the banking records from Hunter Biden, but the president basically protected. But now that you have the impeachment inquiry, even his records will be accessible to the committee, much like what we saw with President Trump, where there were 2 impeachment inquiries, and they had his IRS records and all types of information, which some of them released to the public.
You know, one of the things that really strikes me about this is that Joe Biden continuously professes that he has not done anything wrong. Yet at every single turn, he has attempted to thwart our ability to understand his relationship with Hunter Biden and Hunter Biden's companies, as well as his interaction with foreign malign actors. So you would think that a gentleman who wants to come clean and he wants everybody to believe that he's been completely above board would provide us additional information about, for example, the 20 sham companies that were set up by Hunter Biden and other members of the Biden family to pour money from one account to another account to another account to another account, money that was coming again from the Chinese Communist Party, Kazakhstan, Ukraine, Romania, and these other countries that are not exactly our friends.
So, Congresswoman Hageman, this question for you. Do you think, based on what you've seen so far, you're going to find enough evidence here that would lead to an impeachment of Joe Biden?
We're going to follow the facts. We're going to where the facts lead us. But I believe there's already sufficient evidence to demonstrate that Joe Biden is completely compromised. I think when you look at the documents from the Hunter Biden laptop, you will find exactly what I'm talking about. And what I'm referring to are things such as his email to his daughter saying, I had to give half of my money to dad. I wouldn't make you do that. So it's those kinds of things that I think we absolutely already have the evidence. The whistleblowers and the information that they have provided has been extremely important.
Yeah, I think from my days as a police officer, I think there's enough there for probable cause to get a search warrant. And that would be getting this information, that the banking records, to see where, in fact, these statements lead. Did he get that money? So I think you're absolutely right. If I've got time, I want to switch to another topic very quickly. Today, Senator Marco Rubio sent a letter to the FBI talking about scandal and cover-up. Well, back in January, the FBI gave testimony. The FBI director gave testimony regarding the letter that came out, or the report that came out of the Richmond field office, targeting Catholics for their ideology, which they said was radical. This was the traditional Catholics. So now it appears that the FBI director saying this was just in one place. It now appears that this was coming from multiple FBI locations.
We are uncovering those facts. And it wasn't just in January that he testified to that. He testified to that effect in July in front of the Judiciary Committee. And he repeatedly said that it was just one office, that it was a rogue office, that there was nobody had ever authorized that letter, that they were not targeting Catholics, they were not targeting traditional Catholics. And we now know that he lied to Congress. We now know that he was dishonest both to the Senate as well as to the House in terms of what they have been doing in targeting the traditional Catholics and infiltrating churches. You know, Tony, this ought to frighten all of us.
Yes.
Again, the First Amendment is there for a reason. And the First Amendment, the freedom of religion, the freedom of the press, the freedom of association, the freedom to assemble, all of those things are so critically important. And then when you have the government who is targeting people because of their Christian beliefs, their religious beliefs, you realize that you have a government that's gone completely rogue.
I think you're absolutely right. This, as you said, should frighten every American, that they were producing these reports. And I was wrong. The date that the report came out was in January, but that they're targeting people of traditional Christian faith in this country. You're absolutely right.
In this country, in the United States of America.
Yeah.
That is based upon Judeo-Christian values. The idea that our government would be attempting to infiltrate Catholic churches is really, it is so far beyond anything that I ever expected I would see out of our federal government. And here we are.
Yeah. Congresswoman Hageman, always great to see you. Thanks so much for coming on and joining us today. Great to talk with you.
Thank you.